Hello, people. I am Jaby KOAY, joined by KRISTEN, STEPHENSONPINO.
Hello.
And ACHARA KIRK. We're looking at Hey Ram, official trailer Recuts HD, Kamal Haasan, and Raza.
I have a feeling it might be Ram instead of Ram.
What did I say?
Hey Ram! Ram!
Oh, okay, Ram. Hey Ram. This is from the year 2000, when we thought Y2K was going to be a thing. This is the trailer recut with Kamal Haasan and Raza. Kamal Haasan wrote and directed it. The first comment on this says, I don't think a movie can be made like this ever in India cinema again. Indian cinema. They wouldn't have known that. Thank you, though.
You're welcome.
I don't think a movie can be made like this ever in Indian cinema again.
Shah.
Raghupati Radhav Raja Ram Patita Pavan Sitaram.
Oh! Definitely starts with a bang. Oh. Oh. Oh my God.
Wow.
Okay.
That was intense, man.
Whoa.
Wow. I wasn't expecting all that, but
Yeah, me neither. I don't think
no.
any of us were expecting anything. But we're here. We're alive.
I mean, I
backsliding.
don't
I
know
think-
a lot about this movie. Is it more of like an Indian art house movie?
I don't
maybe?
think so. I think it's just an older Indian film. But the thing about it is, it was more unexpected because of those long titles. That long
Yeah.
introduction is what made it so because like you're thinking that this is going to be like French new wave cinema or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
It's just taking its sweet time getting to it. Then bam, Gandhi dying. I'm like, what? Hold on, I need to be prepared for that. You know, they did the same thing with the Gandhi movie with Ben Kingsley.
Right.
Like they just right at the start of the movie, boom, dead. I'm like, why would you start with that? Just God,
you need
give me
to
a
know where
second
you're
to get into
going.
this. Jesus Christ. Too much.
Too
Oh.
much.
Or as my dad's Korean friends would like to say, too muchy.
Jumanji.
Yeah, it's just
I was like saying Jumanji.
Jumanji. Jumanji. I actually am very intrigued by the style of this filmmaking because it feels very much like the Italian filmmakers from the 60s and 70s. Well, I mean, Italian filmmakers in the States, like Francis Ford Coppola or whatever.
Oh, gotcha.
Or Martin Scorsese, you know, that kind of thing that it just feels very real and it kind of draws you in. And it's one of those things where you can't look away.
I mean, I can totally see the conflict being the religious unrest, I guess, because you've got the Muslims and the Hindus, and there's this whole thing going on, which seems to be like coming through in the trailer. It feels like they're focusing on that aspect of when Gandhi was around, maybe more than the struggle for independence.
So when he was shot, that was his assassination where he died, right? That's what they showed?
That's what I.
Yeah,
That's what I
thought.
interpreted.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he like had multiple assassination attempts. I can't remember.
Yeah, and I can't either because I got a little bit confused when it cuts back to him like
Because then he comes back
hanging
like,
out.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like in this trailer, and I mean, I guess it works for emotional effect. I always try to think about that as well, is Gandhi went flying on the third shot. It's like people don't go flying when they get shot like that. They just drop. Bullets don't send you into the air.
But I feel like I feel like the whole thing's very dramatic.
Yeah.
Well, that's
It's
the
like
thing.
a little over dramatic.
That's what I'm saying is that I didn't feel that through the rest of it.
I see, I see.
That was the only moment, and it set a weird precedent because the rest of the trailer was very real and grounded.
Got it.
That's why I was thrown. I'm like, I like everything except for when he went flying in the air. That was it. The Gandhi flying bit was the only thing that threw me. I find this to be very intriguing, to say the least. So,
I mean, I like the way it looks as well. I feel like the period quality of it is definitely coming through, and just, you know, that whole look and feel of the era, the costumes.
you ever watch The Godfather?
Yes.
That's the kind of feeling I
Yes,
got from
I was-
watching this.
It's funny, right when you said that, I was about to say.
Yeah.
I got that same kind of feeling.
Yeah, that's the thing, is there's nothing that is glamorous about this at all.
Right.
And I think
very raw.
that's what's making me so intrigued with this trailer, is that Godfather feeling, you know, that Francis Ford Coppola gave us. I'm getting it here with Kamal Haasan. I don't know what this guy's deal is with the box, but he had a gun as well, and I'm like, was he trying to assassinate Gandhi as well? It's like,
Either that or he's trying to save him? I don't know.
I have no idea, because I
Yeah.
thought he was like the doctor as well. I got confused.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. There is a lot of violence too. Like, it starts off with, let us just show the assassination of Gandhi, and then halfway through, there's this poor lady who's like bleeding out of her throat. What's happening?
This is a film that I would imagine will educate us in a strong way, assuming that it's historically accurate. I think a lot of people take for granted that there was a lot of violence at that time in India, especially after Gandhi passed away and there was the British left and everything. I feel like there was so much violence that people don't realize, the Muslims taking their territory and the Hindus taking their territory and whatnot. Yeah, it's crazy. I would imagine that there was violence before Gandhi passed away as well. It's just not talked about. As Americans, or Westerners, we just associate Gandhi with peace. It's just a peaceful movement, you know? No one died. It was all
Yeah.
okay.
It's true, because that's what we're told,
He went hungry
right?
for a little bit, and then the British
Yeah.
left. It was all good. Yeah, we have this very narrow perception of what happened.
And more through watching Indian cinema, we've learned there is actually so much more going on, so much more struggle, so much more strife, separation, death. It's pretty gruesome.
That slit of the throat thing is not YouTube friendly, so that either got blurred out or cut out, and I don't like seeing that. Who enjoys that? Not me.
No. It's interesting that they've remastered and recut this, so this must be a very popular movie. Although there was an interesting comment, like the second one down, which said maybe audiences will be ready for it now. Maybe it was more
Maybe it was,
critically
like-
acclaimed or something.
Well, it looks so extreme too, so maybe when it came out, everybody was kind of like
No.
tripping at
Yeah,
how like different and intense it was.
It's like nearly 20
Or
years
is.
old.
Well, say that again.
Well, she talked about the second comment and how it said maybe people will be ready for it this time. So that makes me believe that, okay, the first time when it first got released,
Yeah.
when people went to see it, they weren't expecting it to be so hardcore and like so extreme to the point where they weren't ready and they're like, well, what was that? What did we just watch?
Yeah.
Where now I think it's given people an opportunity to kind of take a step back and go, all right, so maybe this stuff was that so extreme that they can accept it now.
That's an interesting thought.
You know what I mean?
When you said that, what it triggered in my head was this compression of time in Indian cinema, because like I feel like in Indian cinema it was largely the same for a long time,
Yeah.
and then suddenly, like in the 90s or early 2000s, you hit this rapid progression of one style into another. Kind of like here, we used to have films that were quite raw and very real, and the main characters were anti-heroes. And then Star Wars came along and sort of revolutionized that, and we still tried to hold on to that like kind of dark feeling with Blade Runner and Alien and like stuff in the 80s, but it slowly moved towards like when you step back and look at everything compressed in time, it all eventually went to Marvel. Everything is Marvel now, in that kind of family-friendly, a little bit edgy action film that's like starring superheroes and whatnot. With Bollywood, you sort of see the same thing when you take a step back, where it's like it was real and then they went way
Extreme,
commercial
yeah.
eventually. Like everything is very commercial in Bollywood right now for the most part. You don't see this happen very often. It's like usually in independent films and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering like what the effects were on people at the time, if this was kind of like a Passion of the Christ sort of thing where people were just in uproar because of the violence and whatnot in the film, or if people just accepted it. I'm very curious about what the response was, because it's just very like gritty. And I'm not used to seeing that level of grit come out of anything from India unless I'm watching like a South Indian film where they have very interesting mixed tones sometimes, where things can get really violent and then suddenly really funny. That was my first experience with a Telugu action film. So, I mean, you've seen it. In the South Indian action films like Telugu Tamil, sometimes they can get aggressively violent, which is what you don't tend to see unless it's Anurag Kashyap in the Bollywood cinema. But even then, like, the censor board won't let him do too much, where it seems like the censor board in Telugu and Tamil is a lot more loose for some reason. Anyway, that's a whole other topic. But Kamal Haasan Isn't he original?
Yeah, I believe so. He was, I forget the name of the movie now, but...
Vishwarupam?
Yeah, he had that really cool performance.
That was another, that
crazy violent
perfectly
movie.
exemplifies what I'm talking about. It's really funny and goofy, and then it gets really violent, and then it goes back to being funny and goofy. Like, for an American, it's just a crazy thing because of the tone mixture, you know?
Trip.
It doesn't say, Tamil. Okay, he's a Tamil actor-director.
He's worked in
Oh,
all
he's also,
industries.
also Telugu.
Yeah.
Okay, but primarily Tamil.
Yeah, and apparently this movie, Hey Ram, is bilingual. So I don't know which 2 languages.
Is that him right there? Is
That's
that Kamal
what I'm
Haasan?
wondering, because he looks so different. That's why.
That's why you didn't recognize
I
him.
didn't recognize him.
Yeah. I recognized him.
Of course you did.
All right. Anyways, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Be sure to check out KRISTEN on the social media. Why are you laughing? Did I mess up your name?
Kristen Stephenson.
KRISTEN Stephensonpino.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Kristen.
I just-
No,
Look, I got a
he
little bit
did
of-
say that. He said KRISTEN Pino.
I didn't name you. Okay, it's not my fault. My name's easy. It's Jaby. This is ACHARA KIRK. I'm Jaby KOAY. Peace out.